Hey everyone, Frank here, and welcome to this week's video. You know, there's a kind of work that drains a man, and there's a kind of work that builds a man. One takes your time, the other gives you life. The question is not, are you working? The real question is, do you love the work you're doing? Because one of the greatest riches in all of life is what Napoleon Hill called a labor of love. Welcome back to our series on the 12 riches of life, the true measures of success that go far beyond money. And today we arrive at rich number 8, labor of love. This is where work stops feeling like obligation and starts becoming expression, where effort is no longer forced, but fueled by purpose. A labor of love is not about ease. Yeah, let me say that again. It's not about ease. In fact, some of the hardest working people in the world are those who are engaged in a labor of love. But here's the difference. They are not driven by pressure. They are driven by passion. They are not counting the hours. They're investing their lives. Think about the man who wakes up early, not because he has to, but because he gets to. The coach who pours into a young man. The craftsman who takes pride in his work. The father who leads his family with intention. Or maybe even the man who finally steps into his calling later in life and realizes, this is what I was meant to do. That's a labor of love. Now compare that to the man who dreads Monday morning, who counts down the hours, who lives for the weekend, only to repeat the same cycle again and again. That's not lack of work ethic. That's lack of alignment. Because when your work is disconnected from your purpose, it becomes a burden. But when your work is connected to your purpose, it literally becomes a blessing. Napoleon Hill taught us that success is not just what you accumulate, it's what you become. And a labor of love does something powerful. It brings together your talents, your interests, your values, and your purpose into one unified direction. And when that happens, work becomes meaningful, effort becomes fulfilling. For many years, I worked for income. Then I worked for success. But today, I work from purpose. And there is definitely a difference. Because when you find your labor of love, you stop chasing something and you start living something. So here's the question I want to reflect on you today. Is your work a burden or is it a calling? Are you working for survival or are you working for purpose? And if the answer is no, then maybe it's time to begin asking a better question. What would I do if I truly align my work with who I am? Now listen, not everyone can change careers overnight, but everyone can begin to bring more purpose into what they do today. You can serve at a higher level, take greater pride in your work, develop your skills, and begin building towards something meaningful. Because a labor of love is not found overnight. It is built intentionally. If you're a man who knows you were made for more, who wants to live with purpose, discipline, and direction, I want to personally invite you to join us inside the 17 Club Men's Mastermind. We meet every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time via Zoom. This is where men come together to sharpen one another, to grow, and to align their lives with the principles of success. Just comment men below, and I'll personally get you the details. And for everyone, men and women of purpose, join us in our weekly book study. Currently, we're studying Atomic Habits and the Science of Personal Achievement and how they come together. Every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Because success is not an event, it is a process. A labor of love is not something reserved for the lucky. It is something created by the intentional. So decide today, not just to work, but to work with meaning, not just to earn, but to contribute, not just to exist, but to live. Because when you find your labor of love, you don't just make a living, you make a life. Guys, I hope this video today gave you something to think about. Maybe pushes you, nudges you forward into a direction to pursue your labor of love. And I hope that you will join me next week and each and every week when I bring a positive message to help you live your best life. I hope you have a great day. Please share, give us a like, and if you haven't already, subscribe to my video, and we'll talk again soon. The best to all of you. Bye now.